This is a gate entering onto the Bridge of Knowing the Fish, which we'll now cross. This bridge was built during the reign of Qinglong, and it got its name from a conversation between the ancient Chinese philosophers Zhuangzi and Huishi. Zhuangzi, I think, was a disciple that came about 150 years after Confucius, and further expanded the enthusiasm for Confucianism. And the bridge was built close to the water to allow for close watching of the fish. And you see this walkway that I've described goes from little building to little building, providing a completely covered walkway for whoever wishes to use it. But what an elegant accoutrement. So to give you an Emperor or Empress Dowager view and part of the experience, I walk at the speed of one with weighty matters on their mind. Well, there's some beautiful music. It sounds like it would be some classic opera in Chinese. This is a tiny little sparrow-like bird. These are a Japanese potato chip. It's a cross between a Pringle and a potato chip. More Pringle than potato chip. Notice the Chinese, at least in Beijing that I see, apparently are rather calm in situations like this for sure. But there's none of that frenetic sense of urgency that I reflect in America, and I think Americans reflect. And not just do I see it here where you would expect it, but I see it on the subway when it empties out and people start moving. There isn't this frenetic racing ahead of each other, although some do. But rather it's just all get in line in the group and steady move forward. I mean, it's a steady move in mass, that's for sure. But there's no sense of frenetic urgency. I think the motif on this ceiling is of the Chinese crane, which is an important animal. I'm not sure if it's one of the four icons or not. What's kind of interesting here on a little back bay, and I don't know if it's somehow protected for these folks in the way of an aperture from one area to the other, but this is a very small fish here. These are the little ones. And this may be where they can escape the big ones. So we've just made the circuit about the pond. What a very lovely complex it is. Perhaps one of the prettiest things of this nature that I've ever been in. I think we'll take a wander through the various flowers that I see in this patch of giant water lilies, are they? There's some very small little yellow flowers and some white ones, I think. And there are some purple colored ones. Very interesting gate design. I haven't seen it before. Don't know what its significance is. A little section of a banister wall. Continuing to wander To our left, as I'd shown you the main view of the lake, traffic is beyond there, so it must be near a perimeter. Another informal gathering of musicians playing what I think are the ancient instruments, or certainly traditional. The fellow in the white on the left is apparently the conductor, because he stopped everything so that the man on the right playing that instrument could readjust the instrument a bit. And here we go, guys. Man in the white is also the singer or the chanter. This is apparently a little outflow creek, but somewhat stagnant right now before that pond. And I'm going to take this little turn here, just for the fun of it. I see that little bridge area over there, and I just think it'd be fun to make this detour. Besides, it's little detours like this and the last one that let me see some of the things that otherwise would never notice. And a very pretty white flower, also from a vine, I believe, and right next to some of the purple ones. It's interesting that there's a sluice way for controlling the level of the lake if it were much higher, or at least when they wanted it much higher in the past. And there's something curious. Someone just stuck a bowl there plus something else, maybe to feed some little critter that lives here. And that may be one of the little critters. Okay, here we get to where the main thrust of tourists are. I've been here 2 to 3 hours, and that's the first Europeans that I've seen that I'm starting to see around here, but mainly it's Chinese groups, of course. All the work in these buildings, or in this building, seem to be very thin sliced stone, in which the artist has then entitled what he imagines it to be, or to depict. This one entitled Murmuring Pines. Interesting to realize that that's from some kind of stone. That's naturally the design. More so with this one. Okay, apparently I came in at the top is what I had guessed. And over here to the right is where I am now, which is East Palace Gate. So I want to try to migrate towards the lake, I think, and then get around it. Somewhere in here I should be able to find access to the boat that goes over to that island. I'm backtracking now, so I may have gone through this gate before. This is rather elaborate support for the tree, not only to support the limbs, but apparently it's keeping this trunk from splitting.